album we both were really excited to talk about. You know, first off, obviously this is a posthumous album for MF Doom with Super What, the Czarface, and MF Doom team up. Second album that these two have put out. Last one was Czarface meets Metal Face. Is that
2018?
Yep, 2018. And we both really like that album too.
Totally.
You know the
Totally.
I think all of the MF Doom touches mixed with like the old school Czarface, like straight up rap. You know, it's just like a shot of adrenaline into our veins. Goes hard, and there's a lot of that on this. You know, this was an album that was finished last year, almost exactly a year ago. Got pushed back with COVID, like many albums did. So it doesn't sound like unfinished. Doesn't sound like most posthumous albums do, where they're kind of like chopping stuff together. You know, I think of someone like Lil Peep, that was just like completely
copy paste.
Yeah, exactly. So this doesn't feel like that, but it does kind of feel like a period on the MF Doom, career, which maybe we'll talk about. But what did you just think about the album in general? Super What?
Yeah, totally. I liked it a lot. I liked it more than a lot of the other Czarface albums I've listened to. We last talked about them for Czarface meets Ghostface, obviously Ghostface Killer collab. And since then, they had released two other ones that was just Czarface, just Inspect the Deck, 7L, and Esoteric. We didn't have to talk about those. But I like this one a lot more than a bunch of the other ones I've heard from them. And it's funny because MF Doom is not on every song. The Doom feels like a guest, a consistent guest more than anything else. So as a posthumous record, it almost feels to me like how you'll get posthumous verses from like a Juice WRLD popping up once in a while, just because Young Thug had the song chilling and he finally got it ready and put it out, right? And he had that verse in the can. It kind of feels like that, like Czarface had made this collab with MF Doom for a little bit, and it's ready to make this. So it's kind of weird to think of it as like one of the final. I don't think it's the final, but one of the final MF Doom releases, right? Because it's like it's subtle. Like he's just one of the dudes on this.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I actually like that comparison to Juice WRLD more, right? Where it's like you have a verse that's kind of already made popping up. I guess it's a little different because, I guess with Doom, I think about his sound and like the production around that sound more than I actually like. I guess think about like a famous verse from him or something like that. But I gotta say, like, I didn't think there was like a bad song on here necessarily. I thought there were some songs that definitely stuck out to me more than others, including, and this I feel like I'm a bit on repeat today, but the first track, "The King and I," it has this long intro to it, but once the song gets going, it's like super triumphant, super upbeat. It's got like the xylophone kind of just like popping off to like create this like, I don't know, like the king has arrived type feel to it. I thought that track was, a great like tone setter.
And DMC booming bass in his voice, just triumphant. Sounds great.
An amazing way to kick it off. And then this is kind of, it's supposed to be like a double album in a sense, like a split album, I guess. The first four tracks are, I don't know if that was the MF side or the Czarface side, and the second half supposed to be the other person's side. There's a accompanying comic book from Esoteric if you want to check that out for this. But I thought some of the stuff on the second half stood out to me a lot. Well, obviously Doom Unto Others was like right in the middle, but I really liked that track a lot. That like slow, like in the background, like just rapping over like that. And it's a pretty typical drum beat, but it just like feels very familiar, I guess, for someone like Doom. And then I guess the other track that I really liked was "This Is Canon Now." I thought that track was awesome, and they were just spitting comic book bars, like
Esoteric in particular. His self-referential style, his reference-heavy, punchline-heavy rapping, is, I think, very much a Czarface trademark at this point, right? And specifically focused on stuff like nerd culture, right? You literally have a song here called Mando Calrissian. And like to those references, right? I think there's so many. Early on, you get the bass hits like bass hits on Aaron Judge, which I thought was really great.
Even though he
so,
strikes out 5 times a game. I mean,
yeah, it's not the most
timely.
yeah, maybe you don't watch too much baseball, bro. Um, but I think Esoteric is my favorite reference of all. And again, there's many. You can listen to this multiple times just to listen for references you didn't catch the first time, right?
Sure.
The one where he's like, he rhymes Houdini with Utini, the noise the Jawas from Star Wars say. And I'm like, God, I've never heard a Jawa bar before. That was fucking great.
Amazing.
Also, in was it a Back in the Action? Breaking the Action? Breaking the
Yeah,
Action.
Breaking
There's
the
a Hollywood Foreign Press reference, very timely right now with the Golden Globes being canceled. Oh, and then
That
Covers
was
me at the end. You got a Cliff Booth reference, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Again, for the real heads with that one.
well, old buddy. Yeah, no, I actually thank you for shouting out Breaking the Action, because I thought that track just, pound for pound could go up against any of these. It's so jazzy and, like, I don't know, it feels like a very smooth track and very much of what you would expect these two to be putting together. And I think just overall, this is a great pairing, and it's just kind of sad to think that we got 2 albums out of it, but who knows how much other really quality music they could have gone on to make as the MF Doom and Czarface, the group together. Um, yeah, and I mean, what else about the album stood out? What else did you want to shout out about it? This is the
7L's production always stands out because it almost feels like it fits the nerd culture referential vibes that Esoteric in particular is often going for. And like, yeah, just thinking about that, like those beats combined with punchline heavy, reference heavy rapping, it just stands out because it's unique to anything else that comes out these days, especially anything that gets any kind of eyeballs, right? So, and then of course the technical ability is also there.
for sure.
And INS is again part of Czarface. So if you want to throw back to the '90s, you certainly can. And hearing INS and MF Doom, and Esoteric, who's an OG in his own regard, hearing them all together, rapping their asses off, it's refreshing. It's fun. And Super What also is it's a short record. I think I listened to the first 4 songs. I just restarted them after I finished them because I'm like, I was just so digging it, and I was let me listen for more. Let me catch those lines again. So I think most of their albums too, they're rewarding in that regard to repeat listening, which is pretty rare in rap.
No, I completely agree. Definitely worth checking out. R.I.P. Doom.